Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Reviewing Your Pokemon series. In this episode, I have been sent this Gengar. Now, uh, honestly, this is probably one that I wouldn't be that interested in reviewing for the most part, but it was accompanied by a very interesting question by the person who sent it in, that being Gorg the Borg. Uh, they sent me with the comment of, I've been sitting on this Gengar for like 5 months. I've not made it to OGPP yet, but was considering using this Gengar there whenever the time comes. However, I just learned that there is a speed cap for Pokemon in this game. I can't find much good info on the speed cap though, so I'm wondering if this Gengar is at risk of hitting the speed cap if I leveled it to 50 for that helping bonus, and if so, is it still worth using? Could you please explain the speed cap? And that really is where I want to go off, because, there isn't a whole lot of information about the speed cap out there. And it is kind of a not very well known thing in the community. People know it exists, but it's not discussed all that often. Now, the speed cap in this game, explained simply, is when it comes to sub-skills specifically, a Pokemon can only gain benefit from sub-skills of 35% additively from these. So Help Speed M contributes 14% off the total frequency. Help Speed S takes off 7%, and Helping Bonus takes off 5%. The Nature is a modifier that's applied after all this is done, so it only comes from sub-skills. Now, when it comes to this, you'll notice that how would you ever hit 35%? How is that possible? Because Help Speed M 14 plus Help Speed S, that's 21%, plus Helping Bonus brings it to 26%. No Pokemon is ever at risk of hitting the speed cap when considering just itself. Because here you got 26% bonus. The speed is going to bring down an extra 10% multiplicatively after all that is accounted for. But the speed cap doesn't do anything when evaluating this guy individually. However, where the speed cap does matter is when it takes into account the full team context. Because you can have other Pokemon on the team that have Helping Bonus that then contribute more to that modifier from skills. So, I've made a little quick comparison here of just this Gengar and then a couple other Gengar candidates. Now, realistically, I'm sorry, Gorg the Borg, but I wouldn't recommend investing into this Gengar because it's lacking the Berry Finding S that you would look for on a berry-focused Gengar. The thing is, in order for Gengar to compete with Banette for the role of Berry Finder, it really needs to have that Berry Finding S, because the reason why it competes with it is because Banette, even though it's slower, it produces double the berries, but Berry Finding S helps Gengar more because, like, for berry production, because it's bringing it from 1 berry production to 2. That's a 100% increase in the amount of berries produced. Meanwhile, for Banette, it's bringing it from 2 to 3. That's a 50% increase to berries produced. So, a Gengar really doesn't do that well for berry production unless it has the Berry Finding S. That's when we talk about the pseudo berry specialist with Gengar, is only when they have Berry Finding S. Speed alone is not going to make them do that because it's lacking the initial boost to berry productivity that we would see. Now, and as you can see here, if I just have a level 60 Banette with no sub-skills or nature, in terms of berry... In terms of berry production, it's producing 11,000 strength. Compared to this guy, it's producing only 10,000 strength. And this guy doesn't even have any sub-skills or nature. I also wouldn't recommend it because it's got an ABA list. Now, normally, I'm probably one of the people that'll talk about mixed lists as being viable more so than most of the community. Because I think there's some interesting synergy with mixed lists. When you look across all the meals that are currently in the game, now this could change. This could potentially change. So I wouldn't recommend throwing away this Gengar because it does have pretty good stats. But for its list currently, there isn't really a good mushroom and herb synergy. So you can't really evaluate it for targeting a specific meal that has both mushrooms and herbs. Because it's just not it's only going to ever be used for the mushrooms or the herbs. And when you look at its production comparison, I mean, the ABA list means that it produces less mushrooms than an ABB Gengar with ingredient finding down. So you wouldn't be looking at it for mushroom production. And for herbs, it produces less herbs than a AAA Gengar with just a speed of help down nature. So these are both terrible Gengars. Nobody would invest in either of these guys. And because of that, I wouldn't suggest investing into this one. Now, there is something with the helping bonus there, because the helping bonus does apply to the whole team. So, but overall, the value you're gaining out of this Gengar, you'd really be gaining its value primarily in just that helping bonus, which you can find other Pokemon that do that and provide something else to the team. So, overall, my evaluation for this Gengar is I wouldn't recommend investing in it. I'd recommend holding on to it in case there ever is a meal that gets released that has this ratio of herbs to mushrooms. And holding a Pokemon in your box doesn't really take that much space, but it's just one Pokemon. You can hold like a couple hundred if you invest the diamonds for the box expansions. So, yeah, that's ultimately my recommendation for this Gengar. But you don't really have to worry about the speed cap. And to show that off, helping bonus stacks, this is where you tell the calculator how many Pokemon in your team you run with helping bonus. To actually visually see the impact of the speed cap, if I bring this to 1, now this Gengar hits 31%. 2, it is hitting the speed cap, but it's bringing it from 31 to 35%. If I introduce a third one on, you'll see that this Gengar doesn't benefit at all, whereas the other ones that I've produced here do. This one also won't, because this is it at level 59. But yeah, you can see these guys benefit, and the first one doesn't do anything between having 2 and having 3 helping bonus. So if you have a lot of helping bonus, then it is at risk of hitting the speed cap. But I mean, it's only going to hit that when you have that many Pokemon on the team with helping bonus. Would I invest in it, though? I'd probably say no. Because it's not going to be doing any particular role well. Even if you keep it at level 59 just for the mushroom production and don't try to tip it over, it's still producing, like, the same amount of ingredients as an ingredient finding down ABB option. So, yeah, that's my personal recommendation, Gorg the Borg. And a little bit of explanation about the speed cap. Maybe I'll make another video in my Sleep Mechanics series because, like I said, there aren't really that many explanations for the speed cap out there. I know I talked about it at least briefly in my Helping Speed video, which was my very first Sleep Mechanics Talk series video. So I'll link that one in the description if you want to know more about how speed works, because it's not very well explained in the game. And I think a lot of people could benefit from understanding that mechanic specifically. That was one of my first videos, so it is a bit more rough than other ones, but it has some good information, so I'll link that for you to take a look at. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, maybe learned something, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Down in the description of all these Reviewing Your Pokemon series videos, I have the form that you can fill out to get your Pokemon potentially reviewed. If I haven't reviewed it from 3 weeks from when you submitted it, then I'm probably not, or then I'm not going to be reviewing it, unfortunately. But yeah, I try to review about as many as I can, make these videos when I have the chance to, and particularly focus on the ones that pique my interest to have topics of discussion. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.